And I'm live. That is pretty cool. Today is 15th of April 2026, Wednesday. And let's just begin. Screen is visible, everything seems cool. Today we would like to actually set up the whole thing. Docker compose status. And yep, yesterday the problem that we were seeing was why was there a .ds folder. .ds cool. Yep, yesterday we were able to write all of this Docker compose. Here we have defined that there are multiple services. Service number 1, it would be cool like if I can give numbers here. And four, okay, cool. There are 4 services. One is the backend, then there is the Nginx development server, and then there is the TUI, and then there is Postgres. What we would like to do is use this Postgres image. I think we should not just use the basic Postgres image. What we can do is define in the Docker file using this Postgres image. Yeah, we can define our own database because we would like to start our database over this, right? Cool. Yep, visible. Yep. We would like to define or create tables according to us in this database. That would be cool. So Docker here, building the TUI, not the final image, building the database with tables, and here the image would be this. Very secret, is very secret. Do not add that thing anywhere. Docker file. From this as TV. Okay, and workdir / app. We would like to copy from apps / backend / shit. I think maybe we should put that somewhere else. No. Inside backend apps backend database setup.sql. Backend database setup.sql. I think that is the right place. Database setup.sql. Cool. SQL, we will have this here, setup.sql, and now we would like to run this command in here, psql upsql. This should run. This is saying connect to psql postgres using the psql command. Connect to postgres. Postgres is the username, and execute this file. But we want this file to be created inside the Jest database and not just in the global database. I guess tree sitter is not working. Tree sitter is working. Okay, cool. So how to run a command in PostgreSQL with file in a database. In a given database, you want to run this inside a given database. Okay, just given D. The name of the database is chess. After this, yep, just this nothing more. This would be good enough, and we can use this in Docker file, in Docker compose. Here, image. Nope, we don't have an image. We do have a build system where context is this Docker file is this Docker file. Target postgres. Nope, our target is db, and yeah, just this stuff. But that database does not exist, so we have to create that database before adding files to that database. So how to create a database in PSQL without entering the database. You see create database db name. Okay, see, shit, see. So in here, before this, we can open PSQL u postgres c create database, and the name is chess, and then add all the tables to that chess database. Cool. And here we don't even have to say chess. Cool. Okay, that would be cool. That would be cool. I think that should work. Okay. Docker compose ps. Is there anything working? Nope, even Docker is not working. Docker is now working. Docker ps all, list all the processes. Docker compose, remove, stop, down, ps all. Okay. Docker compose, build, to build the image, to build the images except sheet, connecting to /r/run PSQL field. No such file or directory, because we had to use some special command for the connection. H localhost, we have to give H localhost. Okay, you have to give H localhost. The host is localhost. Okay, but what was the difference that this made? Synchronize Claude to ask some questions. Lua snip is being fetched. Why? There's some error with Lua snip. Okay. Share. Okay. Function. Here, what does you mean? And if h and if h local host is not given, then what does then where does PSQL look? Where does it look? Cool. You specify the username to connect, as in this case the Postgres super user without the H localhost. Okay, I need to know some basics about Postgres. Without the H localhost, Postgres doesn't connect over TCP at all. Instead, it uses a Unix domain socket locally at this place, or TMP on some systems. This is a local IPC mechanism, faster and no network stack involved. The practical difference: H localhost connects to a port on localhost, and without H it connects to a Unix socket. Okay. So when we have a PSQL or Postgres server running, then it might have multiple users, just like a Unix system. Just like a Unix system, it might have multiple users, and those users have databases of their own. Those users have databases of their own, and cool. And there is the and to log in as a user, we give its name and password, and the host specifies the computer. Question mark, because this is a question. Yes, exactly. Okay. User Postgres has its own internal user system called roles, completely separate from Unix users. Each role can have a password, and you authenticate with you plus password. Databases. A running Postgres server called a cluster hosts multiple databases. Ownership isn't strictly like each user has their own database. It is more flexible. Any user can own or have access to any database depending on granted permissions. But yes, typically you would create a database per project, per app, and assign an owner. Host, yes, it specifies which machine the Postgres server is running on. It can be local host, this, or a remote host like this, another server. Omitted Unix sockets on the same machine as discussed. Okay, so the whole thing would look something like this. H, host machine. Port, which port? U, user. D, which database do we want to connect to? And then C for giving in a command which we want to run. Cool. So here we are seeing run on localhost with user Postgres. C, run this command here, and then create the database, and then in that database run the commands from this file. Docker compose build, still error, and this says database connection refused is great. Because the server is not running, that is why connection refused. So first we have to start the server. Okay, that is messed up. That should work. No, that should not work, because if we go to Docker Hub, Postgres image, Alpine image, here, and then the final command is Postgres, not PSQL. So yep. So instead of this, Postgres Docker compose build. Yep, error, because root execution of Postgres server is not permitted. Why? The server must be started under an unprivileged ID to prevent possible system security compromise. See the documentation. Okay, what we want is to just create some databases, start the server, create a database and tables on this Postgres local server, so that when the backend runs, the backend can connect to this locally. But there is a problem. Either we do this in the Postgres data, in Postgres itself. We can do this after the server runs. Create database in Postgres Docker image. How do we create? No, not just database. Create tables in Postgres Docker image. Debian tables. Yep. Create an init.sql file and copy from this. Copy that file to entry point. Okay. There is a special file named this, and then when we are building this docker run, name this e password d is database my Postgres. Okay, or using Docker Compose. When we are using Docker Compose, we give in the password. Postgres password is the name of the environment variable that is needed. Okay, and volumes, we don't need volumes. We don't need volumes. Nope, we don't need volumes. Cool. Manual creation. Nope, we don't need manual creation. Okay, so we do have the file which defines all the schemas. We just have to copy it here in it. Okay, bro has like a whole thing here about the same thing. Hi, hello. Is there a reason why you override the default entry point command from the Postgres image? No, I try a lot, so that may be wrong. I'm just trying to learn Docker and connect to a post. Yes, similar. We are also doing the same thing. init.sql have a file like this which defines the whole database. Entry point.sh is a file, and Docker Compose has all of this. Environment variables, what is, yep, here from, wait, we define a lot of env from Postgres this, and define the environment variables, user, password, copy. Okay, shit, how is copy different from, no, copy is copy. Yes, copy is, there's no similar command to copy. So we have to copy this .sql to /docker and hyphen entry point this. And okay, create a config file, make there, all of this, working there, copy configuration. Why don't think we need a configuration or something? If we were to trust this, we just need this and definition for all the schemas. Copy the definition file near init.db place. Then when we run docker run, when we run, we give in the environment, the password as the environment variable. Name is mydb, and also the database in which we want. We are already giving the Postgres password as the environment variable, and the D tag. So what is the D tag? We can like legit see docker build help. For D is debug, but that is capital D. We are looking for small d. Small d does not exist. Okay, this should be cool. This should be cool enough. We don't even need these. We just copy. Cool. And it works. And here in Docker Compose, build from dbf this. Ports are these commands. Add this command. Docker Compose build, and cool, it is like actually working this time. Cool. This is building the front end. Postgres is not built. Postgres is not built. No, Postgres is built. We just haven't given it a name. My bad. After build, we give it container name and also image. Container name for this Postgres and image. Postgres local, and we'll call this also Postgres, and as Postgres. Docker Compose build to build the whole thing again from scratch. Okay, this is building the front end, the back end, the TUI app, and also the Postgres server. And the problem we were having with the Postgres server was that we were not getting the tables and the database at the start when the backend runs, because in the actual production server the tables and everything is already there. Okay, so this is here now. Docker Compose to create containers for these. Docker Compose start to start these containers, and they have started. And if we go to localhost 1234, I think, yes, 1234 it is, allow, and it's what is there, Docker is there, 154 here, and anonymous account, localhost 1234 in dark mode. Cool. And okay, walrus 1234 and pass at the rate 123. Error creating new user. Okay, what part is giving us error? Okay, shit. Why does the front end not know about the backend, the database for here when we are building Nginx? When we are building Nginx for development, this is all that we are doing, and we are using we are copying all this whole build from front end development, which is this. And first of all, this should not happen, and this calls bun run dev, and this bun run dev script in the front end here, bun run dev script builds in the development mode. White build in development mode. So this should be working. We are using that environment variable in here, console.log base username and base URL, and base URL isn't cool. Backend API underscore URL. But shit, why is this backend API underscore URL? White uses this a prefix, and we changed the prefix yesterday to this Sadaharu. And let's go to our development env, and here we do have the name changed, Sadaharu, and cd apps frontend, look for this except the Sadaharu part. Okay, there's okay, let's go to a file. Just trying to say Sadaharu here, and we are also using it here. And somewhere else, database, no. Cool. I guess we should be cool. Docker compose build. We will build again. Hello. Shit. Hello. Sup, bro. This is building the front end again, and I guess if we do this again, this should not build the front end. Docker compose build, and we did not build the front end again. Okay, now we have the images for all of these. Docker compose, first we have to stop all the containers which are already running. I guess Docker compose stop. Cool. Docker compose down to remove the containers, and now Docker compose create to create new containers from the new images. Docker compose start to start those containers that we just created. And if we go slowly to this website, localhost, still we are getting undefined as the URL. Localhost 1234 and console, shit, we are still getting undefined. Like this was working yesterday. Here we have defined the modes, development, development, and also this. There might be a problem with how we are defining the env, white env prefix, white or wheat, I think is the like name of it. This thing. Okay. We have to prefix some key with our actual name, and only then wheat will pick it up. Or we can change this option, env prefix, which we are changing. Env prefix is becoming equal to SADAHARU underscore, and its default value is wheat underscore. And env variables start with env prefix will be exposed to your client source code via import.meta.env. import.meta.env variable. Okay, if you'd like to expose an unprefixed variable, you can define to expose it. If we remove this and just use the normal prefix bit, which is wheat and import this wheat variable there, library network here. Wheat backend API URL. I think that is the correct name. Okay, we database shit. We were not using the same name. We were using two names in the environment variable file. We were saying database, and in the importing part we were saying backend. Okay, so we can use Sadaharu. Backend API URL here also. Sadaharu backend API URL and back this library network users. Sadaharu and here also Sadaharu. This should work. The name that we are using to get or import the variable is Sadaharu backend API URL. Here also Sadaharu backend API URL, and the name with which we are defining these is also same, Sadaharu backend API URL. And in the production also, even though we are not testing for production, we are testing for development. Yep. And here we will have to define prefix, env prefix, Sadaharu underscore, comma at the end, and here also. Cool. Docker, not Cocker. Docker compose build to build this again. Hello, you brother. Just checked your channel. I saw you are from Green. Yes, apparently, and also that you know German. From where are you in India? Meerut. Me from Meerut. We live in Meerut. And yes, Ishkhan, aynı bizim de acı sprechen. Okay, this is build. Docker compose stop to stop the running containers. Docker compose down to remove the container. Docker compose create to create new containers from the new image. Docker compose start to start those containers. Okay, refresh and shit. Undefined, still undefined. Localhost 234 undefined. The name is same, everything is same. The problem is with wheat is not loading. Env prefix SADAHARU, not too complicated. And here development SADAHARU underscore back end underscore API underscore URL. Lib network SADAHARU underscore backend underscore API underscore URL. Backend API URL. I guess instead of, maybe the problem is the global scope. We are getting the variable in the global scope. That might be the problem, maybe. So we can get the URL inside every function. Okay. Docker compose build to build it again. How much AWS has costed it yet? Let me see. AWS AP South, Asia Pacific South. Shit, I am logged in, logged out. Password is, and a fingerprint. You start with $120, and so seems like AWS has used up $5.6 yet. So yeah, not too bad. Docker compose stop. Docker compose down to remove. Docker compose create to create. Docker compose create down, and Docker compose start. Okay, still undefined. It is running at port 1234. Let's try to SSH into localhost for testing the TUI localhost with port 2345. Yes, it asks for password. Good. Yep, connection. There was error with connection because right now there is like the backend is not reachable. Okay. Environment variable is not there. Why is the environment variable not there? This has to do something with wheat. So we have this folder .env.development in the root of our directory, and we have changed. Let's use Claude for help. I have a folder, a file named, the names .env.development. In the root of my Vite project, and I am building using Vite, one run Vite. Wait, what are we exactly running? Vite. One run Vite build mode. Does this work? This does not work. We are the one and the build script is defined as, the build script is defined as build Vite build mode development, but this is not loading the env variables from the dev file. What is the problem here? The issue is that Vite mode flag sets the mode name, but env file loading depends on that mode name matching the file prefix. Okay, so when we do mode development, Vite will look for .env.development, which you have. This should work. The likely culprits. Okay, we are messing up. The prefix. No prefix variable. No, prefix is fine. Import the correct. Import with the correct name. That is also fine. Typo. There might be a typo. There might actually be a typo. No, there is no typo. development, and here .env.development. Okay, no problem there. And also the prefix part is okay. The prefix part should also be okay. Part is cool, since I have a custom prefix which is shit. This is the custom prefix. Yo, I will keep going. Going to do my own work. Best of luck. I hope today will be, yes, finally it might be deployed today. And right now we are just working on Docker Compose, so to run this locally, and we haven't even started on doing some CI/CD, and CI/CD is going to be very difficult because CI/CD for everything. Shit. CI/CD for everything else is going to be simple. For the backend, for the front end, CI/CD is going to be simple, but CI/CD for the TUI is going to be difficult because we need to SSH into that port using port number 22. But after we SSH from GitHub's workflow into that server, we have to change the SSH port from 22 to something else, so that when a user comes there, by default they would be given, we want the Go server to run on port 22 and not the SSH server. So we would have to change the SSH server. But once we do actually change the SSH server, how does GitHub know whether the SSH port is still 22 or something else? I guess we would have to write some scripting, shell scripting there to figure it out. Okay, the problem. Config looks fine, the unit prefix would work, but I notice one issue: you are using underscore file name without import. That is not something I'm asking. Or underscore Sadaharu. SATAHARU. SADAHARU underscore backend API URL. Yep, void env variables undefined. Yes. Stack Overflow. Let's go. Let's go. That's what programmers do. But CI/CD is a problem for tomorrow. Just let this work. It is already difficult. Yes, it is already like difficult as it is. CI/CD is going to be. We will see if we can do CI/CD today. We will see. We will see. Import meta. Yes. White variable name. Let's use the default here. Let's give in to this. Node modules. Hopefully we are not pushing node modules to GitHub. It would be a noob mistake. Okay. And in this whole thing, replace Sadaharu with wheat. And we do the same thing here. Replace this with wheat. Docker compose build Docker compose stop. Docker compose down. Docker PSA. Nothing is running. Docker image ls. These are the images which are there. Maybe we are messing up and not using the correct images. Docker RMI backend Nginx postgres local SHA backend SHA Nginx dev SHA postgre SHA TY Docker image Docker remove image Nginx dev TY latest Docker image ls. Okay, that is cool. Docker compose build to build the images again from scratch this time. Ghosty, okay, allow Ghosty to do whatever it wants. Okay, we have the images ready. Docker image ls. Okay, these are the images backend latest Nginx development postgres local and ty latest. Docker compose create Docker compose start. Okay, this should like work. This should work. Okay, I'm binge watching streams these days. Okay, let's go. Like, hopefully not mine. Good streamers you can watch. Maybe Primeagen is good. Like, yep. Yeah, if you want to watch programming streamers, Primeagen is good. And I think low level programming also streams. Low level Twitch, he streams on Twitch. Yep. Low level. He might be streaming like right now. Nope, he is not. Low level. Yep, you can watch his. He's pretty cool. Low level programming. He does like low level stuff. It is in the name. And this refresh undefined. I'm very tempted to write the variable in the code itself, like base URL equal to localhost 22, but no, that would not be professional. Okay, why is the environment variable not being picked up? VITE backend underscore API underscore URL local host. Maybe we are not defining the variables correctly. This is .env dot development file. Is this okay, or there is some mistake with this? .env dot development dot development. That's a problem. No, I did change the env. Oh shit, we can have multiple prefixes. Can be an array. Cool. Env prefix can be star underscore and also white underscore at the same time. Compose build backend API how do I run this white command from the command line directly? I think we should use npx or bunx in case of bun. I think we should use npx. Yes, with bunx. Cool. Okay. A white build development mode. Apps frontend bunx. What bunx does is shit. Okay. Thank you. Ramzan dropped a music video. Yep, he did drop a music video. He and Teach. What bunx does is it downloads the binary or the package whose name you gave and runs it, and when it is done running it, it deletes the package. So like one of running a package. Build mode development. Some chunks are larger, that is not our concern. And this is the same thing which happens with when you do npx serve this thing. It downloads the serve package. Need to install the following packages, and when you are done, it deletes the package. And I think it downloads this package in /tmp folder. These are all the random stuff. Yep, bun node just downloaded some stuff. Node and bun. Why are there binaries for these things? Lua has downloaded a lot of stuff here. Okay, so whatever you put in this /tmp folder, it gets deleted later on. Apps frontend. The build is here. Base URL. Okay, localhost 22. Localhost 22 is there somewhere. Okay, localhost 22 is there. So maybe this time it worked. localhost 22 is here. It is here for something. Console.log I. Yes, yes. And what is the change that we did? We didn't. Okay. If we serve this 1x serve dist folder, could not determine package server. Okay, shit, it is called serve, serve, serve this dist folder, and we are listening on port 3000. Port 3000. Okay, okay, and we should not see undefined. We do not see undefined. We see localhost. So wheat is picking up the environment variable. Wheat is picking up the environment variable. Docker ps, all of these are running. Maybe. Okay, we don't see the environment variable here when we are running the same thing in the Docker container. Maybe because we just let's rebuild, not accuse anyone. Docker compose build, building, transferring context. This is building the front end again because we did changes in the front end. Shit, we have to define what are the times, which files, whenever we have to specify files and say whenever these specific files change, build the front end again, and we define it. We define it here. Docker install. These files define the package and one run dev. Okay. Cool. Cool. And this should work. This should work. Stop. Docker compose stop and down to remove the containers after stopping them. Docker ps processes, nothing is running. Docker compose create containers. Docker ps, no container is running. Docker ps a to see all the containers. These are the containers which were created but are not running. So Docker compose start to start these containers and refresh. We do see localhost. We do see localhost here now. Okay. Internal server error, we will fix that, but at least we are getting localhost. And what is the change that we made to see localhost? We didn't actually change a lot. We are just seeing localhost. Here we gave this thing two prefixes. Let's change the prefix here to Sadaharu, and this also. And library network user Sadaharu global. And in this file also do the same thing. Sa the Haru. Okay. Docker compose build. We can build a specific thing, and that is going to be Nginx dev, or we could build the whole thing, no problem. Control C. Docker compose build the whole thing, and in the meantime there is a question. if we are getting the env variable in the global scope outside function, does it cause any problem? Maybe, I don't know. No problem at all. Okay, variables are statically replaced at build time by wait, so accessing them in the global scope is completely fine. Okay, totally fine, totally fine. Docker compose top, compose down. Okay, the thing that we did actually change was here in this folder apps frontend, we did 1x white and we manually built the whole thing with mode development. This is what we did, and then we were getting the environment variables, and I suppose maybe this build was correct, and every time that the container was building we were not making the correct build, and when we did this manually we got the correct build, and we were copying this build, we copied this correct build to the container and we were running this correct build. That is why we were getting environment, we started to get environment variable. So to test this, rf test. So now the build is gone, and if we build, so we will get the build which is being built by Docker Compose. Okay, building bun run dev, or a better name would be bun run build colon dev and bun run build. Yep, the very this path does not exist, so we didn't build the thing. Okay, we are getting somewhere here. This is giving error that here this file /app/apps frontend dist does not exist in front end dev, and front end dev just does this one run dev. Wait, this is doing one run dev in the root folder. Is it creating the dist folder in the root folder? If we do one run dev here in the root, okay. Okay, we do see the problem. The problem is this is the root of our folder, and this has a main package.json file which is telling the root folder that this is the name of the project, and there are two workspaces. One is inside apps and the other is inside packages, and there is a script one run build which is defined inside our workspace, and when we do one run build or one run dev, one is looking inside one of the workspace for this script, but it is not finding the script. All right, so how to access a package.json script inside which is defined inside a workspace, and we and I am in the root of a monorepo. Okay, we have to specifically given the workspace. Okay, if he specifically given the workspace, run build workspace equal to the workspace. Workspace equal to, which we can just define here, and we will call this build production build dev, and run build production workspace space equals apps frontend. This is defined inside apps frontend equals apps frontend build run build dev development tool frontend, and there are two scripts, build dev and build production. Cool. Development and production. Now docker compose build. This should work. Resolving dependencies. Because we changed package.json /apps and after this we have to do one install maybe. Shit, okay, it is stuck on resolving dependencies. Run build, because we also have to change the command in the docker file. Run build dev production, uninstall everything. Run build dev, unable to find image, build dev locally. Okay, run build dev. Okay. Is this an error? Like this does not this does look like an error. Let's wait, and maybe this will like go away. 56 frames were dropped during the stream. Okay, wait, is that filling up the RAM? That is, docker is taking 7 GB of RAM. CPU, nope. Bun is Bun is also not taking much of the CPU. Cool. Okay, we are not able to do this. How to run app script in JS Monorepo. Set up a modern JavaScript Monorepo like a professional. Okay. Pick your poison. Browse poetic workspaces. Okay. Define the workspaces. Packages slash app. Packages slash app. App is a, what is app? Inside app. Okay. Okay, everything inside apps and everything inside packages. Cool. That is cool. That is cool. And in them define the name mono underroot underscore app module type module main private true private true. Okay, how do we pass around scripts? Script, yep, inside app package. Build means tsc, here build means tsc, and in the main package.json npm run build workspaces if present. Okay, that is what we do. Workspaces if present, and if there are like two builds with the same thing, we are almost there. Do this, and finally with npm install TypeScript, because we are not using workspace argument. Okay, what is this defining? What is this saying? npm run build workspaces if present. What does this workspaces if present mean? npm run dev spaces if present. What does this mean? What does this like stand for? It runs the dev script across all workspaces, errors out if any workspace is missing a dev script. Okay, without if present. Okay, if present, then run this skips workspaces that don't have dev. Build prod build dev. Build prod build dev. Present if present. Okay, these are the workspaces. Maybe package.json name, we have to change the name. In this, the man says in the internal workspace, change the name to like something like this, mono slash app. So front end, we can say s at the rate sa slash this and something similar. Here name backend and inside packages we already have the like, name, actual name. Cool. One run build this and this if present. Work workspaces. Prod and dev, and these are defined. Build dev and build prod, production development. Okay. And install. Okay. Docker. Bun. Run. Build. Dev. Where do we see this? What does this mean? Shit. Okay, okay. If present, why do we see this being logged? Workspaces, if present being printed on one run build. Like, what is this? Workspaces in one, maybe one has some other. How to fix W? Utilize the shorthand W which behaves. Wait, we have to give a different command. Remove the old ones, install new, and one run build hyphen workspaces one or rf, let's say node modules. One install all the node. That was very quick. One run build workspaces. One run build development workspaces. Still the same thing. Workspaces in one. Okay, let's say we have a package.json. Okay, yes, this is it. And in the main one we say that the workspaces are these. Okay, and dev dependencies, example package in Monorepo workspace, this glob support package.json, or we can define them individually, or this I think means not, do not include this workspace and just include everything else except these workspaces which have test or template somewhere. Okay, package one. Inside package one we say dependencies works everything that is a part of the workspace. One install filter, install dependencies for all workspaces starting with pkg. Okay, and paths can also be used. Okay, code can be split into logical parts. Scripts, yep. Scripts, how do we shit scripts. We want to run scripts. You can use the filter flag to run package.json one run build dev. This is not working. This is not working. This doesn't run the build dev script which is defined inside which is defined inside apps frontend slash package.json. It just keeps printing. It just keeps printing workspaces if present. Is an npm shade. Okay, this thing does not exist in bun. Okay, bun workspaces. Shade. Okay, filter. Okay, okay, that should work. Filter everything or run. You can also target a specific thing. Filter is bun's equivalent of workspaces. Okay, bun does not uses the word workspaces. And cool, filter all build dev, bun run, filter all and build dev. Filter frontend. Yep. Frontend build shit. Production build dev. Okay, now bun run build dev, and it is actually building. It is actually building. It has actually built the thing. And where is it? Is it right here? Nope, it is not right here. Cd apps frontend ls. We do have the dist folder here. Cool. Docker file. Cool. Okay, here in the Docker file, what are the commands? Bun run build dev for development and bun run build frontend for frontend. Can we have the names like this instead? We cannot have the names like this. Docker image ls, docker image remove backend latest Nginx dev postgres local UI latest docker psa all. There is no process running. Okay, docker compose build all the images again from scratch, from like total scratch. Okay, this whole time the problem was workspaces, resolving dependencies. That is taking quite long. The problem was bun the main script in package.json, the build script didn't know what to run. Okay, now it does, but it is taking like quite long, about like 1 minute to install all the dependencies. Cool. Okay, we got error. Bun run build dev error. Failed to run this, did not complete successfully. Exit code 1. Why? Because cancelled backend. Build failed. Why? During build failed to resolve React router. This is most likely unintended because it can break your application at runtime. Okay, why? I guess we do one install here and we do run cd. Can we give custom folder to one install or one workspaces? How do we download the packages for all the workspaces internally? There was a way here. One install filter all instead of one install. One install filter. Okay, docker compose build. That should not cause problems. Now resolving dependencies. This should download the packages for all the internal things, internal packages also, for front end, for back end, for everything, and also for the commons folder. Monkey type. Let's go. Monkey type. Monkey type. Shit. Okay. Shit. This failed. This failed. This failed. This failed. Why? One run build dev. One run build dev. Run build dev. Wait. It does not fail here. So why is it failing there? One run build dev. BYLD dev. Rollup failed to resolve import in main app.tsx and apps frontend source app.tsx. React router is installed here. Okay, let's cd packages common rm rf node modules. Go back and back cd apps frontend rm rf node modules. Go back cd backend rm rf node modules. We have removed node modules from everywhere. Let's also remove them from here. Node modules. Okay, one install filter install for everyone. Very quick. One run build dev, and now we do get error. Now we do get error. We didn't have node modules. Node modules is not node modules are not installing. And node modules is not installing stuff for the packages. Shit, I closed the browser. My bad. Move this to workspace number 3. Close 3. Pop out. Cool. And time also there. Cool. But I guess if we do one install filter apps slash frontend, use this, and filter apps slash backend, and filter apps slash or packages, I think is the name, packages slash common. Okay. One run build dep and still error. Node modules, okay, node modules are downloading. Here, node modules are downloading. And no error here. Error is because of path resolution. Finished without resolve. This node modules enhanced resolver script exited. Why? One build dev, okay. Tailwind cannot resolve tailwind CSS. Tailwind CSS. Why? Tailwind CSS is here. You go to a file like this or some file, it has a component, and give it some styling. Okay, now it is saying that tailwind does not exist. But install tailwind. Okay, one run build dev, and still shit. Cannot resolve tailwind CSS in frontend slash source. Okay, file is index.css slash source index.css, but there is like no problem here. The LSP is saying there is no problem. Tailwind CSS, how does one download tailwind CSS? With white One install tailwind css with Vite was already installed. Okay, and Vite config has to import tailwind css and import it there. One run dev. This imports tailwind css. The problem is not about environment variables anymore. We just don't have tailwind css. Why? Resolver cannot resolve tailwind css at the rate tailwind hyphen Vite generate build cannot resolve tailwind css tailwi and css. Cannot resolve tailwind css. Enable package. Ensure the package is installed as a dev dependency. Autofixer D. Package is installed. Install D tailwind css and tailwind css and post css and auto prefix or prefixer. Okay, they are installed, and one run build dev set and one install tailwind config. Okay, since early 2025 npm install tailwind css installs version 4 by default. If your project uses older configuration files like tailwind.css, you might want to explicitly install tailwind css version 3. There is no custom configuration here for tailwind. Clear cache, delete node modules. Let's do delete node modules, would be cool. One install, one run build dev. Error again. Clean force. One clean force. One clean, how do we clean? And one clean node. Clean node modules, how to clean? Shit, one was like 12 years old. RMRF node modules. And then one install force. Let's install by force. Maybe one is keeping some cache. Okay, a lot of things have been installed. When install force, install everything with force. One run build dev. Okay, still error. One run build dev, and this is the error. Rollup failed to import React hook form. Okay, now the error is not because of tailwind, it is because of something else. N source components form form, and there is an error. React book form cannot find module this. Okay, one install React book form. One run build dev. Okay, now it is working. Now it is working. Docker file, and also let's remove node modules and everything again. rm rf node modules, rm rf from packages, common node modules, rm rf from apps, front-end node modules, rm rf app back-end node modules. Okay, we have removed all the node modules, and rm rf front-end dist. Okay, and docker file, in the docker file we will say filter and force. Cool. Docker rmi py postgres local, and cool. Docker compose build again from scratch, and this time hopefully there won't be any error. This is taking some time to install everything. Wait, how can we give multiple cores to Docker? So that this becomes faster. Assigning specific shit for running or for building for Docker compose. Use Docker compose build process. Parallel. Okay, parallel. Okay, this took this much time, and if we remove all the images that we just built, rmi py postgres local backend nginx docker rmi nginx docker image ls, these are the images, docker rmi nginx dev, docker image ls, okay, nothing, docker compose build pedal. That should be a bit faster. Docker is taking multiple CPUs, and it was a bit faster. Cool. Pretty cool. And now docker psa, what, nothing is running. Docker compose create docker compose start one two three four, and what do we see? Now we are not getting the environment variable again. At least we are getting the latest build, but we are not getting the environment variable. We are not getting the environment variable. Shit. development, and here Adahar. Why are these things like not found? Cannot find module white wheat js the rate. There is no node modules here. There is no node modules here because they are here. Shit, there is no node modules here because we don't have anything yet. Bun install filter for all. Okay, and now we do have the node modules. Here we have the node modules, tabs, front end. We also have node modules here. Cool, and no error here. Cool. We have the cool prefixes. Development uses Sadaharu. I guess we didn't change the name. We did change the name. Okay, we are using the latest name here, Sadaharu backend API, and we are not getting the name. Now here we want to delete all the lines which say const base URL equal to something. Okay, so we here will run the global command, and every line which matches const space base URL this or console.log. Okay, so for or we give something like this. Yes, we also give v for very magic, a, yes, const base URL is a single thing, not multiple things. Use this as a special symbol, very special. It, shit, okay. Or we could like manually delete all the lines. Now we are not getting the environment variable. Now we are not getting the environment variable. Why is that? We were getting it like just now. We were getting it. Run, build, dev. Everything is built. Dist assets. This. Yep. We are not getting the environment variable. We are not getting the environment variable. Prefix is correct. Prefix env, prefix SADAHARU, or VED DEVELOPMENT development SADAHARU backend API URL SADAHARU backend API URL. Mode is correct. Mode. What is the mode? Dev mode is DEVELOPMENT, and for production the mode is production DUCTA1. Okay, this is like painful. I guess I would take a little bit of rest and then come back to this. And let's see if we can fix this now. It might be that Wheat does not know where to look for the variables. Maybe we have to put the variables in the root. And now that I have a workspace working in one for the front-end app, should I put the .env development file at the root of the project, or at the root of the project, or at the root of the front end project? Where? At the root of the front end, at the root of the front end project. That is where we have put this, at the root of the front end project. And the variables are not being picked up. Literally the same name, but okay. docker image ls, docker image remove backend latest nginx dev postgres local UI. Dockers compose docker compose down, docker compose or docker image. All this, remove them. Nginx dev docker image ls docker compose build. Okay, run build dev. React router, react router. React hook form is the thing. Yes, this is here now and this was here before. A little change in package.json would cause docker or bun install to run again. Docker remove postgres local ty backend. Cool. Just add docker compose build. Now we got error because of this bun install filter all with force. Why bun install filter all force, and that does give error. Shit. Expected comma. This is in the main. Oh shit, makes sense. UI post res local docker compose build. Shit. Okay, why we have a random rectangular bracket there. Docker compose build. is not being installed. Bun install. Okay, shit. We are not getting error. Apps, frontend, RM, RF, node modules, bun, run, build, dev, error, bun, install, filter, all, /all. But if we do bun install filter ch frontend, that installs two packages. Bun install filter bun run build bun run build dev bun run build dev bun run build dev error bun install bun run build dev bun run build dev. It just works after this. Node modules, front-end node modules, dev not able to build, bun install bun build dev building, docker compose build. Hopefully no error this time. Bun install is running. It is installing all the packages. Cool. Okay, it is installing all the packages. This will take around like 1 minute, or we can fast quicken this up. Docker compose build parallel, use like all the CPUs as you can, and hopefully, but shit, this is for download, so yep, download speed will take up as much as it can. Does not matter if we are working on parallel CPUs or not. Yes, it is just like working, installing, nothing too special. Cool. Error in building. Error in building. When we are installing manually and then the error is, this is most likely unintended. React router in app.tsx rollup failed to resolve import React router. React router. React router is here. React router is here. Failed to resolve React router slash app node modules roll up apps frontend source. This was trying to import the React router. This is working locally but not working with Docker. Yes, I guess we'll figure it out. I will take a walk and then we'll get back to this. Cool. So for now, this would be it. We streams for 2 hours, just 2 hours, but okay, this would be it, and we will come back to this. We will set up Docker Compose today, and then we will look up CI/CD if we can. Cool. That would be it, and thank you for being here.